welcome one and all to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. Enjoying myself, Mrs H and little Toby here in the village of Singleton, which is in Poulton le Fylde. And we're on our way to Blackpool for a dining experience with the in-laws, aren't we, Mrs H?
Yeah.
And whilst we was making our way through this lovely picturesque little village here, we've noticed this 19th century fire station which is behind me here. Now we'll take a closer look at that in a moment, but we're going to do the talky bit here from the bush shelter because it's a bit windy outside, isn't it, Mrs H?
It is today.
That's why it's sounding a bit echoey. Now, as I said, this little fire station, it was built 19th century, 1882 I believe, by the Miller family, which was like the lords of the manor of Singleton at the time. And the idea was Thomas Miller built it because his estate was slowly, it was getting enlarged, so the idea was he decided to take fire precautions. Now, that little shed there, it had Merryweather, they believe, sort of pump in there. And the idea is it would have been horse-drawn. Now, one of the things that the fire crew would have had to have done when the alarm was sounded, because there was volunteers, I should imagine there was farm workers and things like that, was they had to catch the horse which would have been grazing in a nearby field. So by the time they got everything set up, the building or whatever that was on fire could have burnt away, couldn't it? And I'm sure that the people who lived on the estate used to say things like, they couldn't put the cat out these lot, never mind a fire. Anyway, enough of this rabbiting on. We'll take a closer look at it now. Apparently, it was in use right up until 1946, and it had its last hurrah during the Second World War, and then after that, it was mothballed. Today, it's just a power station, it's a little transformer house. And it's a good thing, really, because it's a Grade 2 listed building. And it's nice to see that they've repurposed it as a transformer house, and also this picturesque little village doesn't need to be blighted by some horrible bland substation, does it? Anyway, enough of that. Toby's getting a little bit restless, so let's take a closer look at this fantastic Grade 2 listed building. And this is it. I'm going to take a closer look at this little mock Tudor building now. Hopefully I can get across the road without getting run over. And here we are. There you can see above the door, fire engine. All original Victorian style ironwork. What's really interesting is these panels here. Now those are plaster. And as you can see, there's carvings in them. Right down the side there. Fantastic, it's amazing to think that this little structure once housed a fire engine or a fire pump, really. Can't really call it a fire engine. They've got that little bell tower type of thing on the top there. Do apologise for the wind. We're sort of on a windy corner here. And what's brilliant is, although obviously the Northwest Electricity, or Electricity Northwest, now house a transformer in there, that's the only bit that gives it away there, the danger of death sign, keep out. Other than that, you wouldn't know. You don't know there's something in there. Fantastic. Real piece of history here. We used to see a lot of these in Germany when we used to be going around, because they still use the volunteer fire services over there. I know we was once staying in a little place, me and Mrs H, long before we had Toby. And about midnight this air raid siren went off and all these cars come flying out from the village, and they all congregated at something like this. And they got the fire engine out and they shot off. So, a little bit of history here, something that we've lost that the Germans have managed to keep going, albeit in rural locations. Right then, I'll whip the camera around and I think we'll wrap this video up and we'll make our way, me and Mrs H and little Toby, to that dining experience with the in-laws. Well folks, that's going to do it for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little video of the old fire station here at Singleton Village, here in Poulton le Fylde. We're going to get off now, myself, Mrs H and little Toby, for that dining experience. Hopefully you'll join us again on another video. Until then, and the next time, bye bye for now.